As a 20-30-year-old, you are offered the chance to live rent-free in a retirement or nursing home with the caveat that you must make an effort to spend at least a few hours a day with the other residents sharing meals, hanging out, etc. Would you take this opportunity, and why or why not? I actually did this in my mid-20s. I was a chef by trade at the time. I got the head chef gig at a community, but it was 2 hours from home. They told me there was one open in my town, but it didn't work out that way. It was great money and I was newly married. To sweeten the deal and not lose me, they offered me a furnished room in the building, and it was only Monday through Thursday. Some of the best times of my 20s were had there. We bowling every night, big dinners, movie nights, the whole 9 yards. I enjoyed it immensely and was almost sad when the opening became available in my hometown. As long as I was in a section with mentally sound people, being around people battling dementia and Alzheimer's would be too much for me to deal with. I don't think this kind of scheme would make any sense in a place with a lot of people with dementia anyway, but I imagine elderly people who are frail but still mentally there would be happy with the company. I agree. Many people with dementia and Alzheimer's can be very aggressive. It's a fairly natural reaction to waking up every day and not knowing where you are, who you are, and who all of the people around you are. The functional-minded, frail people would definitely benefit from it. Edit, I would like to add due to some comments. Absolutely not all Alzheimer's patients are aggressive all of the time. I personally don't have the fortitude to care for people with Alzheimer's on a daily basis. I have lost 2 family members to it, and I know how difficult and heartbreaking it can be to deal with. I did it for them. I could not do it again unless it was family. I spent 3 years working in aged care facilities with many people with dementia at many different stages, and I have to say 95% of the time they are the absolute loveliest people you will ever meet. On the flip side, when they remember they haven't seen their husband who passed away years ago, or their wife who hasn't been able to visit due to COVID restrictions or multiple other things, they tend to get super depressed. For them, having people who they recognize day in and day out is a massive help for their mental well-being. Heck, I saw a gentleman in town the other day from one of my old facilities. Haven't worked there in a year and a half. He was on an outing with a staff member. We are 99.9999% COVID safe in my area, and he remembered me. The Netherlands has this exact scheme for students. I would absolutely do this while in grad school. Sometimes just talking to another human about absolutely anything other than school would be amazing. Plus, as a grad student, when you have a chance to explain your work or research to someone else, you have an opportunity to see holes in it that you might not have noticed with your own tunnel vision. Additional bonus if you are a business student and can ask around the place when you have a business idea to see if it would work or be needed. Reality is that the retiring population is the largest demographic and therefore your largest potential customer base. You could think of the few hours per day as a really easy part-time job that pays for your housing. Eating dinner with them would be great. It would count as time spent with them and you wouldn't have to prepare food. I'd try to get them into playing video games. That would be awesome. Fun fact, the Nintendo Wii was very popular in nursing homes as it allowed seniors access to low-impact exercise. Many of these facilities saw general increases in sleep quality, appetite, general health, and was a great way for them to socialize. My dad is in his 70s and he does Wii yoga almost every day. He used to take classes at the rec, but obviously hasn't been able to during the pandemic, and the Wii Fit stuff has been a lifesaver. Carer here that works in a nursing home for people with Alzheimer's, dementia, and cerebral problems. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. I love working there, but living there would finish even the toughest person off. No, I wouldn't. My job can be fairly demanding, and I like my free time for working on my hobbies or relaxing. I am a bit of an introvert, and I honestly don't have much in common with the elderly. Not to mention, a room in a nursing home isn't the sort of place I want to live either, regardless of whether or not it's free. Not only is my lifestyle not exactly compatible with the setting, but I am afraid it might bother the other residents. I got nothing against old people. I just don't want to live in a community of nothing but old people. What's a few? If we assume that's 3 hours a day, every day, that's about 90 hours a month. Rent for a 1-bedroom where I am is about $1K a month, rounding $11 an hour, less than minimum wage. Not to mention that nursing home rooms are often vastly smaller than even a studio apartment and often don't have kitchens, may or may not allow pets. Probably not. I basically did this twice in my 20s. I became a servant to the entire building, change a light bulb, run an errand, fix the computer. Loneliness wasn't the issue for a whole team of seniors living in the same building. Accomplishing tasks they weren't physically able to do anymore was their issue. Now, the opportunity to live free in a house with 1-2 seniors to be their helper and companion. I do that, but never a whole building. Second example, a family doctor moved to my area where there is a notable housing shortage for rentals, generally rural area. There is one senior's apartment building that is very nice and not full. Special exception was made for the drive to have an apartment until she decided to stay as long as she would do on-call medical for the building. She lasted 2 weeks, said people were banging on her door at all hours, coming home too angry. Notes that she wasn't home at work at her medical practice. Love the people saying they can. Guess you have never been in a nursing home. All the death and sickness always around. The poor people with dementia or Alzheimer's and the behaviors that come with it. Not a chance would anyone want to live that long there by their choice. My grandmother lived in a nursing home for the last year of her life, and as much as I enjoyed visiting her, I always felt a sense of relief when I walked out of that place. It was actually a pretty nice as nursing homes go, new, clean, well lit, with daily activities and decent meals, but there was this sense of oppressive sadness that I could never shake off. Heck yeah, I am a 21-year-old student and I live in a bedroom in a Ronald McDonald house as a night watch. I should be able to be called awake by guests if there is an emergency during the night and assist them. And that's it. The thing is, something like that has barely happened if at all in previous years, so I live rent-free while I can use all the facilities present in this house. I think I would end up like Cameron in Modern Family. While at a retirement home, Cameron makes friends with the old ladies, one by one, finding out each of the old ladies he's playing mahjong with is cheating or stealing cookies. I would just be the troublemaker, spreading gossip and whatnot. The summer before college, I worked in a nursing home under the table for 2 weeks as they had their security system revamped. My job was to make sure only people with employee cards got buzzed in and none of the residents got out of the blue door that led to the dementia ward. The gig paid well enough, but fuck my life, it didn't pay nearly enough for the nurses, the shit I saw they had to deal with. I had some good memories at least, especially of a blind veteran that would always stop by at the same time every day to chat. He loved telling old war stories and I enjoyed hearing them. He was good at telling them, but the dementia ward would ruin that every night. So many of them screaming they had been kidnapped or that they didn't know where they were. I remember one had gotten out. Kind little old lady in her pajamas. I found her on the side of the road trying to hitchhike to the mall. She was so determined to go I had to lie to her and say I was delivering a package before I could take her so I could get her back to the home and tell the nurses. No way, I am in a rehabilitation center right now. That is pretty much the same thing and I hate it. Therapy is cool though. I want to cook my own food. I want to work and I need my freedom. While I have volunteered and done entertainment at retirement nursing homes, I wouldn't want to live there. While it's nice to talk to the people living there and hear their stories, it's also as depressing as it is insightful. These people have seen so much death and lost so many people compared to a 20-30-year-old that a lot of them treat it as normal to bring up in a conversation. Another aspect is the high death rate. The people in retirement nursing homes aren't young anymore and in most cases also very ill. Then there's dementia. Seeing people slowly lose their identity is an extremely harrowing experience, and having to see this over and over and over again every single day sounds like an absolute nightmare. Hells yeah, all my grandparents and a great aunt required lots of family care and nursing homes over an 18-year period. It was really cool getting to be with them and getting to know them as friends and not just weird old adults, like getting tacos and sneaking cigarettes and wine type fun. I miss my family dearly and will happily acquire any surrogate grandparents. That's an important point in your life for psychological growth and exploration. Living in such an environment is going to forever change how you see the world. It will always be through the lens of the inevitable death and suffering you will witness daily. This isn't a good or bad thing, it's just a very strong thing. I wouldn't want any one thing influencing me so dramatically. I actually did that, lived rent-free but had to work 1 shift per week, usually on the weekends to cover for it. It wasn't a retirement home but a huge house for people with disabilities. Loved every second of it and only moved out when I began studying in another city. I still visit them and will forever cherish the time spent and experiences I made there. Number 8. A few hours a day is a lot of time. When you're working, it not only gives you income, it gives career experience, which is so important when you're young. I also think living in a retirement or nursing community would feel very awkward to me. As someone getting old myself, the idea of some young person striking up a conversation with me because they have to for their housing makes me uneasy. LOL, this is actually kinda similar to my current living situation. I am a woman in my early 30s who recently became disabled and can't work, so now I live with my 65-year mom, 71-year stepdad, and we just moved to a retirement community in AZ a couple months ago. It's different than a retirement home in that every family has their own separate house in the neighborhood, and then there's clubhouses, restaurants, pools, golf courses, etc. in the center of the neighborhood. It's dope. I hang out at the main clubhouse a lot, go to the jigsaw puzzle room, go to the pool. My mom's trying to get me to join her water aerobics group, play pickleball, bocce ball. There's a geology club I am gonna join, and last night I went to the clubhouse bar. My mom and a couple other older ladies. We had a blast. It's such a great community, and they make a huge effort to have a wide range of activities available. Also, my tortoise loves being here in the warm weather. LOL, I am waiting on disability benefits to kick in. It takes years and it sucks, but when I get approved, I'll have enough back pay to put a down payment on a mobile home for me and my tortoise, and honestly I am hoping to buy one in this community. As someone who works in a care home, I can tell you the elderly are great to be around. They can give you fantastic life advice and entertain you with stories from a time that you can only experience through their recollection. Working with the elderly has been a net positive for me, as they are always up for a good chat or a quick duck in the canteen. Yes, I would. They have awesome stories to tell, and occasionally they need a friend. Plus, just think of all relief their children would feel knowing that someone is rooming with their mom, dad, and they can call them if their parents don't answer. Plus, they can teach all sorts of life skills needed, like how to wear a tie, sew a button, baking, cooking. I do it. COVID aside, because I don't want to risk spreading it to them, I would probably have to decline despite hating the concept of rent. I know from having seen my maternal grandmother's memory collapse due to dementia. She passed away in 2019, that it would be really tough on my mental health as with a high death rate. Plus, I tend to like being very independent with managing my time. I do have some altruistic reasons for this, as I spend part of it on climate activism, so I am not convinced it would really work, and much as it might be fun to try and teach them all how to play Smash Brothers Ultimate, and I don't mind doing jigsaw puzzles, those are fun. Assuming the other residents are older than me in their senior years, I would absolutely take it. My grandmother passed away when I was 9 years old from cancer. At that time we lived in another country. We still do. She was the most loving human being you could ever meet, and it angers me I couldn't spend more time with her. I know the residents wouldn't replace my grandmother, but from my understanding, when you are in a nursing home means less visits from family. Not always, of course. So I would absolutely love to be there for them, get to know them and enjoy the moment. It's free living and I like hanging out with old people, but nursing homes do smell and they are notorious for their lack of care. Honestly, I don't know. I could hang out with the residents for a bit every day. We could eat meals, watch TV, play board and card games. That's not the issue. I would not want to end up taking care of them, and they don't want that either. I think I might be more susceptible to illness and disease in a home. I am a quiet person, so I wouldn't be a bother there. Who knows? Maybe they try to set me up with their single son or grandson. Currently living with one elderly relative who has been experiencing increasingly severe dementia for the past 5 years. I would say no, absolutely not. He is depressed because there is nothing to remember and nothing to look forward to. He has not been able to articulate his needs for at least 3 years. He gets angry when asked to put on pants, poops himself regularly, and gets angry about that too. Sometimes he tries to hit housemates. Sometimes he lifts up my skirt because he believes I am hiding something. He was living independently and driving before moving in with the family. He was a great man and still tries to be polite to others when he isn't afraid ashamed. Cognitive decline takes away more and more of a person until there is not much left. Early dementia can damage a person's ability to feel enjoyment by physically damaging their brain. It takes serious mental effort to be able to respond with understanding and compassion every day with no end in sight. Thanks for watching. Consider subscribing for more videos.